My guest at this time will face Chris Jericho in a match to determine if he joins the Inner Circle at AEW's Full Gear. It is MJF. MJF, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today.
You're welcome very much, pal. Ask all the questions you may like. You pretty much only have 20 minutes to do so. And let's be honest, a lot of people would pay a lot of money for that amount of time with me. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, MJF, I do only have 20 minutes with you. Before we get to all this stuff here going on with Inner Circle and Chris Jericho, I would like to take a step back if I could here. What was it like to tango with Jon Moxley there? You were in the AEW main event, world title picture there for a bit. How did you enjoy that experience working with Jon Moxley?
I mean, I wish I could say I enjoyed it, but he cheated. He cheated. He used an illegal maneuver in order to beat me because that's the only way Dictator John could beat me. Let's face the facts. I gave him the best match of his title reign. If you don't believe me, just watch it back. It was bar none the best Jon Moxley match has ever had in All Elite Wrestling. And it's all thanks to me. It's unfortunate that he knew he was being bested by a better man, and he decided he had to resort to such tactics as using such a disturbingly debilitating maneuver that was outlawed in that matchup. He cheated. That is something I would never do as an honest human being and as a good professional wrestler. But it is what it is. It's a bittersweet thing to talk about. But yes, the cool thing is that at the tender age of 24, I main evented a pay-per-view for the biggest promotion in the world. So I'm really proud of that aspect. It's unfortunate it ended the way that it ended, but I'm sure I will win the world title very soon.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I wanted to get your thoughts on as well, Max. What was it like for you at such an early age there, 24 years old, getting to compete for the world championship at AEW? I mean, what have you learned from that experience of being put in such a high-profile position there?
Learn anything. The only thing I felt, though, was vindication. Unfortunately, there's a lot of ageism that goes on in my industry. And I believe that occurs because people on the top are older normally. They're in their 30s or 40s. And I feel that they don't want to lose their spot to somebody so young, because if they lose their spot to me now, I'm going to be able to be on top for the next 25 years, as I've discussed previously. Unfortunately for them, it's too late. I am on top. I'm one of the top names in professional wrestling right now. I'm on the mouths and lips and tongues of everybody that is a fan of this great sport. And yeah, all it gave me was vindication. I've been ready pretty much since I stepped foot the first time in a wrestling ring. I did not learn a thing, but Jon Moxley learned a ton.
Well, I guess my follow-up to that be, you bring up ageism there. It's really interesting then that you should pivot from being in this, program there, this feud with Jon Moxley, into working with Chris Jericho now, who is 50 plus years old. How is it that you seem to have found common ground with a guy like Chris Jericho now?
Because Chris Jericho isn't ageist. Chris Jericho is a man that understands the future is now. The future is not later. I have a phrase I always like to say. It's called talent over tenure. And I feel that Christopher understands what talent over tenure means. It doesn't matter how long somebody's been in the business. Can they draw money? Can they be a top guy? Can they be somebody that forces you to watch them on TV? I am one of the top draws on average, minute for minute, in pro wrestling right now. I might be the top draw outside of my boy CJ. And he understands that. And we both understand that we have a mutual respect there. And we both understand that if I do join the Inner Circle, we both will benefit greatly. I firmly believe the only reason that this match is occurring is because Chris Jericho, he wants foolproof that I am worthy. I think deep down he already knows it, but he wants to see. He needs to see it physically to believe it. And I'm fine with that. I'm more than fine with that. And that's why I'm looking forward to this matchup.
So talk to me about how you two came to be, friends, I guess it seems like. I remember I was back at the Jacksonville rally when AEW was just being announced. I saw, I believe it was you and Joey Janela at the time that were facing off. Chris Jericho came out to a bunch of pop and circumstances.
Cool.
When was it that you two seemed to have found, some energy together?
Honestly, the first time I realized that I kind of like this guy was right after I kicked Cody in the nuts, and I came out the next week to announce to the world why I did it. And Christopher just happened to be in the ring, and we ended up having a bit of a conversation in front of the live audience. And in that moment, I realized this guy's all right. There's something to him. He's got something. And I'm sure he realized the same thing as we were looking eye to eye. Post that, I mean, I wanted to win that world title. I still do want to win that world title. It's all I care about. It's my one and only goal. However, I understand that in order to win, sometimes you need to evolve. And I understand that evolution is key when it comes to professional wrestling. I tried doing it on my own. It didn't work out. And I feel the reason that didn't work out is because if you look at AEW right now, there's a lot of lines being drawn, a tremendous amount of lines being drawn. It seems nearly everyone is in a faction. And I just came to the conclusion after my match with Dictator John, after he cheated the way he cheated and there was no justice. Perhaps I would have had justice if I had more people backing me, whether it be verbally or physically. And I had announced live on TV, hey, I need to join a group. I need to join a group. And I feel it's very clear that Inner Circle is the most powerful group, not just in AEW, but in all professional wrestling. And I make no bones about it. That's why I wanted to get to know Chris and see if Inner Circle was a good fit for me, as I'm sure Christopher was trying to realize whether or not Inner Circle, what me being in his group was a good fit for him. And I think week after week, it's become more and more apparent. We have so much chemistry. We're clearly fast friends. And I'm really excited to get to know more and more about my good friend Chris.
It's interesting, you know, with you and Chris, the dynamic that you two have put together here. You know, I go back to the Chris Jericho, 30th anniversary special where he ran the SNL credits at the end there like that, and it feels like you two have really kind of found, I don't know if sketch comedy is the right way to go about it, but like it seems like you approach.
There's nothing about us. The only thing that's funny is anybody thinking that we're being funny. I take my job very seriously. I take my friendship with Christopher very seriously. Do I think we're so wildly charismatic that it can make people laugh from time to time? Sure, that makes sense. But we're not trying to make anybody laugh. We're just being our genuine selves. We're having a genuine good time. And if people enjoy it, they enjoy it. If they don't, I don't care. So.
Okay, well, take us back here a little bit. A lot of fans very interested in this Dinner Debonair that you and Chris.
Really, it's most talked about segment in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah, so talk to me from your perspective. How did this thing come together? What were you most proud of coming out of this Dinner Debonair segment that you?
I'm proud of the fact that nobody else in the professional wrestling business besides me and Christopher would have been able to do what we did in that segment. I was an all-state tenor 2 in high school. I also was the captain of the Acapellas. Boom. In it's no joke. We were an all-boy acapella group. Christopher, as you know, is an incredible artist. He's the front man to Fozzy, one of the greatest bands in the world. And we're the only two guys that possibly could have done what we've done. We sang a beautiful rendition of Me and My Shadow. And I felt it helped us connect. It was natural. It happened organically. It was not something we planned. It just completely happened organically. I think it took us both by surprise, but at the end of it, when we sat down and we made eye contact, we both knew that we've got something here. We've got lightning in a bottle, and I am super proud to be a part of it.
Well, and I think it was from the Observer that reported that I believe that they said that it was your idea initially that Chris kind of yes-anded on with.
Well, that's ridiculous because the singing and the dancing was completely spontaneous. That's what people don't seem to understand. We were trying to enjoy our meal. Unfortunately, we were butting heads a little bit. And then, I love Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Cry Me a River. If you don't like them, that's not my problem. I love them. I heard that song play. I felt the music running through my body, and I felt the need to sing and dance. And Christopher did as well. And I think in that very moment, we realized that we were almost kind of a perfect match for each other.
So there was no truth to the idea that this could have maybe been a moment that was inspired by an Elton John song instead of what we got with Sammy Davis.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So here's the thing. I'm sure a lot of people want to believe there's stuff going on backstage with them. I'm MJF 24/7. My birth name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I was born and raised in Plainview, Long Island, New York. I have wanted to be in the professional wrestling business ever since I can remember. I was an all-state tenor 2. I was an all-state middle linebacker. I broke the record in tackles in my high school. I had a full ride scholarship. I left to pursue professional wrestling. Everything about me is real. That music hit, and I felt the need to sing. And that's that.
Okay. Well, great. Well, let's talk about the other members of the Inner Circle. It doesn't seem like they have a very warm reception to you. I mean, obviously, you and Wardlow are going to have this tag match here against Santana Ortiz here coming up on Dynamite. Why would you want to be a part of a group that doesn't seem to want to have you involved? That seems to be a question.
Like I said, flat out, me and Chris, we have a bond. Also, I've said this out loud. Inner Circle is the best group right now in professional wrestling. I understand if I want to become the AEW World Champion, I need to be in this group. Straight up. But don't think that hooks into me and makes me not want to have genuine friendships with these. I want to have genuine friendships with these guys. I really like all these guys. I like my little bud Sammy. I like Ortiz. I like Santana. I like Hager. Go Hager. Big W recently. That was awesome.
Sure.
And obviously, I totally love Chris, man. He's my BFF for life. It's unfortunate right now that it's taking time for them to get to understand that I am a great person. I am fun to be around. I'm the life of the party, but I'm also business. I mean, there's so many reasons why you should want to hang out with me, but I'm not going to force it on anybody. You know, I want it to happen organically. And if these guys feel the need to blow off some steam in the ring and have some friendly exhibition, you know, let's have at it. Let's have fun.
Well, a lot of fans have speculated that perhaps, you know, the Inner Circle doth protest too much here. I mean, what would stop them, I don't know, from saying being, you know, secretly on your side, you know, maybe against Chris Jericho?
That is furiously ridiculous. I want to make something perfectly clear, because I see these things. I see them on the Twitter and the Instagram and the Facebook and the Reddit. And it's I'm not trying to turn on Chris Jericho. I'm not trying to turn on Inner Circle. I'm not trying to turn on Sammy, Jake. I'm not trying to have them join some new crazy crew. That is not my intention. I've already made my intention known several times. I want to become the AEW World Champion. The best way to do that is to be a part of the best group and to be able to learn from the wealthy tree of knowledge that is Christopher Jericho. We are talking about an absurd amount of years in this business. 30 years of knowledge. I mean, who wouldn't want to soak that in? So for all the people that are saying that, I believe they're shit stirrers. I believe that they're pot stirrers. I believe that all they're trying to do is make that wedge big. And I believe that's why my little buddy Sammy Guevara has an issue with me, because he unfortunately is reading these things on social media and it's causing him to have this anxiety about me. I'm a good person. I have zero interest in turning on them. I have zero interest in creating some sort of secondary group offset from their group. All of these things that I've read, they're all ridiculous. Nothing crazy is happening here. I just want to join the Inner Circle. That's it.
Okay. Cause yeah, you did make it known that, you know, you were looking to possibly join up with a group. You know, there's
of course.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, their Inner Circle is not the only, you know, party in town when it comes to AEW.
But it's the best part of town. And I feel that people love to read in between the lines. Pro wrestling fans genuinely do a lot. They'll try to guess what's going to happen next. And then when it doesn't happen next, they get upset and they throw a little fit. Oh, the thing I wanted to happen didn't happen. Unfortunately, for all these people that think they're dealing with this type of scenario in their head where there's going to be a turn, there is no turn. The reason why I quote unquote turned on Cody Rhodes is because Cody Rhodes turned on me first. Chris Jericho's a good person. I'm a good person. I'm ready to do good business with Chris Jericho.
All right. Well, I want to turn our focus here a little bit to the big man by your side, Wardlow.
Sure. Wardlow. Absolutely.
Yeah. He was included in this number one, you know, contender tournament. He made his way to the semifinals there.
Yeah, I helped book him for that tournament. So yes, I'm fully aware of it.
Well, what's it been like, you know, finding chemistry with Wardlow? I mean, a lot of people, you know, they see a big guy and a guy like you and they say, you know, Diesel, Shawn Michaels. Do you see that comparison? How do you feel you guys, you know, compare, you know, with...
in the sense that I feel I'm a top guy and he has the potential to be a top guy one day. Sure. Do I wish him the best? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, he needs to understand his place. And I think Wardlow does. His place is he's my bodyguard. He's my bodyguard. I make profit off of him when he wrestles and gets the winner's purse because I'm also his agent and he's under contract with me. Wardlow's a good guy. I want him to do well because if he's doing well, I'm doing well. But also he needs to understand that it's not his time yet. And I'm sure someday it will be. When I retire, I am perfectly fine with Wardlow going out on there on his own and giving it his all. But right now he has one job and it's to be, let's be honest, to kind of just fall back in line and do his job. And his job is to protect me. And soon his job's going to be to protect the Inner Circle as well, because Wardlow will be coming with me if I beat Chris Jericho.
Okay, that was actually going to be my follow-up question. There was
Sure.
if you do wind up beating Chris Jericho and wind up in Inner Circle, Wardlow comes along.
People need to understand we're a package. We're a package thing. Where I go, Wardlow goes. Okay. I don't want anybody to get that twisted. Without me, there is no Wardlow. So why would Wardlow not join the Inner Circle with me? That is another thing that I'm reading. People reading too thick in between the lines. There's a reason why we are always together. It's because he needs me. And quite frankly, I don't feel I need him, but I find him to be useful. And that's why I keep him around.
So with everything said here about going into Full Gear, your match with Chris and Wardlow, we've got all, it seems like the, contractual stuff out of the way. My only question then is what happens, Max, if you come up, short here against Jericho? What are your steps then, after that?
It's back to the drawing board. Let's face the facts here. I'm the most intelligent man in professional wrestling. I'm a pro wrestling puppeteer. I think 7 steps ahead of everybody. And that's why I laugh when I read some of these, conspiracy theories online with people trying to guess what my next move's going to be. You never know what my next move's going to be, but I do. And I always will. If I lose, which I don't foresee that happening, I've never lost in the history of AEW. You cannot count my loss to Jon Moxley as a legitimate loss. There's an asterisk next to it. It's the equivalent to Barry Bonds hitting the most home runs in the history of the MLB. It's meaningless. So yes, I am the undefeated, undisputed, uncrowned AEW world champion of all elite wrestling. Do I think I'm going to lose this match? No. Do I feel this is going to be one of the greatest matches in the history of the company? Absolutely. I tend to do that whenever I go out there. I tend to make jaws drop, which is something people forget because I'm so good at my job and I'm on the stick. But I also happen to be one of the best wrestlers in the world. And Christopher obviously is one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. So I just want people to sit back, relax, grab a can of Coke, make some popcorn. I'm sure heavily buttered because you're all large, and just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show.
All right. Well, last thing I would say as a follow-up to that, if not Inner Circle, there's been a group of guys running around right now that seem to have, something connecting them in Shawn Spears and FTR. I feel like if you're looking at that old school Horseman dynamic,
sure,
you seem like you would fill that Ric Flair role with kind of the crew they're rolling with there. I don't know. I just didn't know if you would want to comment on the work that FTR and Shawn Spears are doing at the moment.
Well, that's another thing. Fans looking in between the lines. They want the 4 horsemen. I am not somebody that likes to repeat history. I like to forge my own path. However, I will say this. I think those guys are immensely talented. I think Shawn Spears is one of the greatest workhorses in our business right now, and he's an unsung hero, soon to not be unsung. I think he's not going to be a secret much longer, especially with the amazing things he's doing right now on Dynamite as of late. I think FTR is clearly the best tag team in the world. I wish them nothing but the best. But again, I'm not looking to repeat history. I have zero interest in that. The only thing I'm interested in is becoming the AEW World Champion, leading our generation for the next 25 years on AEW Dynamite, and cementing myself as the greatest professional wrestler of all time. But I wish those other guys the best of luck. I think they are so immensely talented. I don't respect a lot of people. I respect the 3 guys you just mentioned.
All right. Well, MJF, I want to thank you very much for the time. Again, I think we're all looking forward to seeing you here, you and Chris, at Full Gear on Saturday. Is there anything else that you want to plug, promote, put over here before we wrap up the interview today?
Yeah, just if you want to understand how not to be a complete losing, piece of shit, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter, _MJF. Outside of that, watch Dynamite. And I know you already do because every single time I'm on the screen, I get the highest ratings. So I get the quarterlies every week and the minutes for minutes. That's the funny thing. A lot of people don't understand the minute for minute. It's vital. It's super important. Super important. People they don't get to see the minute for minute, but you know who does? This guy. I'm going to be right back. I forgot the most important ingredient to this interview.
Okay. Oh, man. I hope he comes back. It's kind of a nice bedpost there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gathering I'm in his bedroom. I don't know. Oh, there it is.
All right. We're good to go.
You can't do it without the scarf.
No, it's pretty much impossible, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I've got about 20 minutes put to the side here, Max. That work for you?
Works for me, man. Just get ready to get berated.
Yeah, well, it is how it is. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, here we go. 3, 2, 1. My guest at this time will face Chris Jericho in a match to determine if he becomes a new member of the Inner Circle at Full Gear. It is MJF. MJF, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today. Oh, wow. And just like that, it didn't work.